Guys, welcome to the Wednesday Cardone University Mastermind. My name is Steve Spray, coming to you live from the 305. Guys, we are right here in the studios. Okay, call in. The phones are already blowing up. Hit that number right there, 305-865-8668. Okay, give us a call in. We're taking callers right now. We're actively taking callers. So just so you guys know, this show, the Mastermind, it is private and it is only available to Cardone University clients. So if you're here, that means you're a client. Welcome. And we want to help you out. So guys, the purpose of this show is so that way you can call in. We're going to talk to you about all the different problems or challenges or anything that you have. I mean, being able to have a group, you know, a place to go, a place to, you know, really connect with people and say, hey, you know what, like I'm out here battling this deal alone. You get in the group where everybody's kind of on the same page, and then you kind of throw in your difficulties. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about them. We're going to handle them. Okay, so it's what we do. And what I want to talk about today is closing and negotiating. That is going to be the deal, closing and negotiating. So there's a lot of great content inside Cardone University about closing the deal, handling objections, negotiating. So we're going to cover some of them. And so just so you guys know, there's a lot of content inside the program. I mean, there's no way that in this 45-minute show I could cover even a glimpse of what you need to know about closing the deal. Okay, but let me tell you something. If you know the rules of closing the deal, if you understand what to expect in the close, if you study and you've got your go-to closes inside the program, the ones that you're practicing, drilling, rehearsing, like if you've got the closes down pat, the ones that are like your go-tos, I'm telling you guys, you're going to make more money. You're going to have a lot better opportunity in your sales process to make more money, to hold more gross, whatever you're looking to do. I'm going to show you how to do it today. So guys, what I want to cover is, man, the phones are blowing up already. I appreciate that. There's a lot of people, man, they're hungry to get information. So before we dive into this, just so you guys know, 10X Business Bootcamp happens October 5th, 6th, and 7th. And I just talked to Natalie. Natalie, you guys know that Natalie she's eligible to do deals that other people aren't able to do. So if you guys reach out to us today, we want to put a special offer together for you for the Business Bootcamp. What we're going to do, we just need to know how many tickets you need, what seating you're looking to get, and whether you need a hotel or not. So our job and our goal is to make sure you're at the Business Bootcamp. And we're going to cover closing, by the way. So Grant's going to spend he spends probably 3 to 4 hours just on closing the deal. So it is a place to come and get a blueprint on how to close and negotiate your deals. So, and then that's only 3 hours out of the 3 days, right? So we'll talk about marketing, prospecting, follow-up. We talk about how to build a 10X team. So that is the 10X Business Bootcamp. Before we dive into some of the callers, what I want to do, Francisco, can you show that slide? I want you guys to take a screenshot right now. Take a screenshot of this right here, because this is what Grant says that, hey, listen, if you don't have this, you can't close the deal. And I've seen this slide when he brought this slide up, when he brought these 7 rules out. I mean, it made a huge difference for me because I was able to have this right next to me. And anytime that I have a deal and I'm like, hey, why are they not closing? You know, hey, why is this deal not happening? I can always go back to this list right here and I can look at it and I can say, hey, look, if they don't have all these 7 things right here, these are the requirements to close the deal, by the way. If I don't have all these, guess what? I'm not going to close the deal. And so what it does is it actually helps you identify, if you don't have the number 1 decision maker, then you got other work to do inside the process, right? If they don't have the wherewithal, like handling the price is not the issue, man. I got to handle how do they get the money. So they got to be sold on the product. They've got to believe in you. They got to believe, hey, man, Grant Cardone's the right guy. He's the company. He's the guy I want supporting me for sales training. Or if you're in HVAC or a mattress company, or if you're in B2B sales, like, dude, they got to know that you're the right deal. If they don't, you can't close the deal. They got to have the confidence in the product. There's got to be some sort of offer. I mean, I will tell you that so many times I've had salespeople hit me up, hey, man, help me out with closing this deal. And I'm like, did they have a contract? Well, we don't have a contract yet. Dude, they can't close. It is impossible at this point right now for them to close. And then number 7, this is so valuable, and we're going to come back to talk about this, urgency. How do you build urgency? Because if they don't have it, then they don't need to do your deal. They got more pressing problems. Okay, so we're going to come back to this list. This is an unbelievable list. It's a simple list, but it's vital. Okay, so let's take some callers. Let's see what problems are happening in the marketplace right now.
You got Daniel in Chicago.
I got Daniel in Chicago. How's it going, Daniel?
I'm doing great, Steve. How are you?
Man, I'll tell you what, I'm doing unbelievable today. I'm ready to find out what's blocking you from getting some deals right now, so that way we can figure it out together.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So my question is how to handle objections in the appointment setting stage of the sales process. So I'll tell you briefly what I'm working on right now. I had a prospect fill out an online application that was on my website for my nutrition coaching program.
Yes.
And for the past 10 days, since I got that application from her, I've been executing Grant's follow-up process, including phone calls, texts. I sent a selfie video, email. Yesterday, she finally responded after 10 days and said she was interested, but it wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
So my broad question is, when you're trying to schedule a sales call like that with a lead, and they email, text, or message you a reason why they can't, what process do you dive into at that point? I tried Grant's strategy of objection handling, where you try to determine if it's a real objection. So I messaged back to her and asked, is after acknowledging what she said, I said, is timing the only reason you have for not setting up a call to see if the program is right for you?
Yeah.
And I really don't know if that's the right process.
Yeah. So I want to do a little drill with you, and I will tell you that, you know, Grant said something to me one time that like just totally changed the whole game for me. And he said, whatever they give you on the, and I'm going to explain something too after I get, whatever they tell you, whatever words they use, that is typically the exact reason that they should do it. Okay, so let's look at that. Let's find out, hey, how does that even make sense, right? So trust me, I had to go through this myself. So she said she hit your website and then she told you that now's not the right time.
Right.
Okay, so first thing I want to do is I want to go into agreement. Yeah, babe, guess what? I know it's never the right time. Okay, which is why I exist right here. My job is to actually create meal plans. And what else do you do on your deal?
I coach them through healthy eating habits. So they can primarily to help them lose weight is their main goal.
Yeah. So probably the reason that you're not hitting your weight loss goals now is because you don't have time to get all the right things in order, and my job is to make it simple for you. That's the exact reason why you should take a call with me right now. And what I want to do is just get you the information. I want to show you what it is. That way you'll know exactly when the right time is. Okay, so when can I get it? Maybe 5-10 minutes, explain what we do, and that way you can make a real decision on when a good time would be. So let's just go back and let's just look at the situation, right? Like I like to do that. I like to just look at it and see, hey, what's here? So we've got somebody who they expressed interest, right? So to some degree they have an issue and they feel that maybe that guy could help me out, right?
Right.
So that's step one. Number two is I want to look at this. She said that, hey, now's not the right time. Now, what was she really saying? Was she saying now's not the time, I got things going on? Or like what was her, did she communicate more to you other than now's not the right time?
Yeah, she actually did respond to that question I asked her. When I asked her, is that the only reason you have? She said, well, actually, what it really is that I'm worried about spending money on a program and not knowing if it's going to work for me. Yeah,
definitely. There's a lot of programs out there that, you know, typically, and have you spent money on this before? Have you spent money on something like this before? What have you tried so far that hasn't worked? You know, go back to the scene of the crime. Find out what she's done. Here's the problem for most people. This is why a lot of people have trouble selling stuff too. Like they sell a good product. And they're selling to people who this is not the first time they're trying your deal out. And they never spent the right money. Like this is, you know, like think about us. We sell tickets to seminars about wealth creation, sales, Like a lot of the people here, this is Grant Cardone's not the first time that they came to like a business seminar, but they've been to some other bad seminar, right? So guess what, we'll hear, oh, Grant Cardone, another one of those seminar guys. Yeah, like, dude, guess what? So you gotta that's what you're up against. And that is the real problem that you're having. And so what you wanna do is you wanna eliminate that. So what I would do is I would just go into overdrive. Tell her what she's thinking, man. Totally get it. I know you would not want to, hey, my job is to get you all the information on my product. I'll tell you that there's a lot of companies out there right now that they've got products, they've got apps, they've got systems, they've got all different types of things that are a waste of money. And what I want to do is show you what my clients are doing right now and for you to have all the information so that way you could make the right decision on whether my business is going to get you to your goals. And so go back to you did the right thing by opening it up and finding out what the real objection was, but let's tell her, hey, let's assure that I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking that I might be another one of those guys, and yeah, I could be, but let me show you what I'm doing so that way you know I'm not. And so when I do that, I'm going to show you how we'll help you lose 10, 15, 20, 30 extra pounds in the next 6 months. I'm going to put a plan together for you. If you don't like the plan, you don't have to do it. My job is to get you all the information. I'm sure you can make a good decision from there. Right? And so what happens is you just got to go back into that. And then when I go into the fact finding, I'm going to find out, hey, what have you tried before? So that way you can eliminate some of the thoughts that she might have about why your deal won't work.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you, Steve.
Hey, you got it, Daniel. Thanks a lot, buddy. Thanks for calling in every week, by the way, too. That's awesome. See, like this guy right here, I know this guy's going to pick his business up. And I've been with Grant for 6 years, and I see all the success stories, and I see all the guys who we heard the story about, hey, they invested, all their money and it was a great deal and the guy came in on it. And then 6 months later, I'm seeing that same guy who went all the way in, who's another success story. They're like, yeah, hey, you guys remember John from Banada? Yeah, guess what? He tripled his sales, right? So the people who go all in, like Daniel, man, the guy shows up every week. I know he's doing the right things. And I know that's going to pay off. So let's go and take another caller. I know the lines are loaded.
You got Robert in Vancouver.
I got Robert in Vancouver. How you doing, Robert?
I'm fantastic. And you?
Man, I'm doing awesome. Doing awesome. What type of business are you in, Robert?
I do specialty non-prime financing in automotive.
Oh, good.
So I run my own department. I generate my own leads. I actually buy leads from a third-party company as well. Mm-hmm. I'm at the point right now where I'm ready to expand. I tried expanding last January. I hired someone. I already know my mistake there is I stopped doing a lot of the work where I'm strong. Like I'm great on the phone. I'm great in calling the leads and stuff like that. And that was my biggest flaw because I was expecting to have my person I hired to bring in all the traffic where I can just work on the financing of the deal.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to expand again. And I guess my question is, what's a good way to help finance or find the right people to hire?
Yeah, it's a great question. What part of the Cardone University do you have? Do you have the full program?
Pretty much. I'm a part of the ambassador program.
Oh, yeah. No, perfect, dude. So here's what I would do. When we started looking at prospecting, and I was here when there was like 1 or 2 salespeople, so I've been through the whole progression of like adding and hiring and like all the different things. When we went to go look for, hey, how are we going to get salespeople? We went to the prospecting strategies program. And so if you go in there, and Francisco, you probably show them if you're on the full curriculum, you'll see prospecting. That program right there, just so you guys know, is an it is talking about getting extra sales, but it is also talking about working all the people that you know. And what I would do is I would use this tool right here to kind of map out the way to prospect and build a list to find new people to hire. And then so Francisco, click into creating a list. So what I would do is, Robert, is I would do this. Number one, I would think the 10X rule, right? So I would think, hey, I definitely want to talk to a lot of people. I think a lot of people that hire, the mistake they make is they don't talk to enough people, and it's maybe because they don't go into it with a game plan. And so what I would do is I would start with this list right here, and I would make a list of people in your power base, like, hey, okay, so who's my ideal hire? Is he a guy fresh out of college? Is he a guy who's been in the industry? Is it a girl who is stuck at a job somewhere else, and I'm trying to pull her up into this position right now where income is unlimited. Like, what does that position look like? So draw your ideal person, and then start mapping out, hey, in my power base, who can I call right now to prospect to find out, hey, who do you know? And it just goes back to activity breeds opportunity. And so I would start there first, because here's what's going to happen if you do a post. Like, for instance, I know a lot of our clients have said, hey, you know what, I've posted on Craigslist. Well, like, think about a guy like me. Everybody's like, well, how do you find guys like you? Well, guess what? Me personally, I've never looked on Craigslist for a job. So you will never find a guy like me looking for a job on Craigslist. And so, like, it's the cause and effect thing, right? So if you want good people, there's some extra steps you're going to have to do. That's probably going to come with a phone call and maybe working people that you know, or working LinkedIn is really good. So we'll do like the LinkedIn thing where we'll find like parallel type companies and we prospect, so we'll find out like, hey, who could I bring over into this slot from a different industry who might be like tapped out in another organization. So use the creating prospecting list, and that'll start drumming up ways to just get in touch with candidates. And I'll tell you that if you're trying to hire somebody good quality, they've probably already got a job. So same thing when you guys are out there prospecting to sell your bit. Like if you've got your deal and you're selling B2B products, guess what? You're probably selling to somebody who's already got what you have. That you're just looking to replace them, right? So that's where you got to come up with a good pitch. So Robert, what you need to do too is also look down like, hey, what are the benefits of working here? And what would the ideal person like about coming to work for me? So that was like a lot of things right there. Does that help you out?
Yeah, because like right now, like my biggest challenge is I've expanded so much with the amount of traffic that I'm bringing in, and the leads that I'm getting to the point where I can't handle them all. Right.
Yeah.
So, and which is a good thing, but at the same time, I feel defeated at the end of the day when I don't get to complete all the work that I've set out in my day. Right. So I'm trying to cram, as Grant says, cram as much in your calendar as possible.
Totally.
And so business is good. Since I've been enrolled in the ambassador program, my income's gone up. I'm coming to boot camp next week, so I'm making all the right steps. And as I'm starting to see the growth, it's the only discouraging thing is I'm not getting enough done in the day because I'm bombarded with. I guess I'm creating so much work for myself, I can't handle it all.
Yeah, totally.
So,
well, the good part is, so on day 3, the business boot camp, we spend most of that day actually talking about, like, there's only so much I can tell you in like 30 seconds. We're going to spend mostly the day 3 on how to build a 10X team. What do the interviews look like? What questions are we asking? What are we looking for in people? What are we not looking for? What's a major red flag, right? Because it's tough. This is what gets tough for people, is that they don't know how to find good people for their business. So they start bringing in just anybody. And then it becomes, now they got another, they got a bad hire. It costs them money because they're trying to train somebody that just probably, if you just would have seen it, it wouldn't have been a good fit in the first place. And then they got people who like mess things up, and then they go back and then they go into conservation. And so what we want to do is talk to you about, hey, like, what do we do to hire people? What do we look for? So, and we've hired a lot of people. And so we've kind of been able to filter through that. And so like, we've got a blueprint now of like, I don't care who you are. Like, if you don't match the blueprint, you don't get through the door. So like we're looking for the right type of people, and man, that's, it'd be so much easier for you to kind of have that blueprint as well. So that way you don't have to go through some of the headaches that, that we've had to go through and that we've worked on with some of our clients. So
yeah, because the more people I get in front of me, the more deals I close. Like, that's just the reality. So
exactly. So you want to like map out. So like then it goes back to like, okay, well, like, who do I need to hire and for what positions now? Because if you're, if you're an A player and like if you're better on the field rather than the coach, then it's like there's some strategy that goes behind it. So, dude, that's awesome, man. I'm excited to see you at the boot camp. But you know anybody else that we could sell a ticket to, get them down here to come with you?
I've been promoted like crazy trying to get people down. So,
dude, I'll tell you what, man. We'll, I might work out a little commission deal if you can toss up a good lead, man. If you can warm them up and you bring me in like Shaq and Kobe back in the day, dude. You bring me in, dude. I'll slam dunk it. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy. I'll see you at the boot camp. All right, guys, so let's go back to, I want to go back to the slide really quick. So screenshot this if you haven't done it. Requirements for closing the deal. So number one, if you don't have the decision maker, let's talk about this, because what happens is people get into closing the deal, and the biggest mistake they make is that they are not dealing with, number one, they're not dealing with the decision maker. And so what happens is, and I was just on a deal literally 2 minutes before I walked in here to sit down. That's why we started a couple minutes late. I was negotiating a deal. We had negotiated the deal with the non-decision maker. He was the influencer, okay? His title was president, by the way. And it's a big company. It's not a small company, right? So, and he said he was the decision maker. So, like, this is why training is so freaking important. Guess what? Because of my training, because of what I knew, the first time I got on the phone with that guy and we presented the product and we went through the little dance, I knew for sure, hands down, that guy was not going to be the last guy that I was going to see. Okay? Because of the training. Right? And actually being in deals. Like, I know the words people use. I know the speaking. There's like code for I'm not decision maker. You want to know what the code is? The secret code for knowing whether the decision maker or not? When they tell you, yeah, I'm the decision maker, that's code. They're not the guy. Okay? That's just straight up. No business owner talks like that. Grant never walks around saying I'm the guy. Okay? Yeah. I mean, he does in a different way, but he's not, you don't get him on a business deal and him say, no, I'm the decision maker. Yeah, so that's red flag. Okay, that's a bonus. Okay, that's what you guys get for coming to the Mastermind. Okay, so what I knew, and guess what? That guy has been whacking us down, trying to hit us on every little corner for the past month. Every little angle he could try to get, he's been chipping away. Okay, little does he know how much training I've actually had. So we've got exactly what we wanted so far, and we're gonna get a deal done. And the deal is beautiful, by the way, for both parties, which is actually one of the parts of closing. Like, it's got to be good for both parties, because if it's not, like, and you feel bad when you get hacked all the way down, and then you get drugged, through the dirt, and then you get a deal closed, like, you don't even feel good about it. You hate that. So that's why you got to become a great closer. Okay, so just to finish up the story on this guy that I'm working with now, they finally brought in the secret decision maker from way out in left field. They had to put us on a 3-way call. I mean, it's weird when that happens, because I know this guy's calling from some bat phone from someplace, and guess what, man? He started whacking away at all the same things my other guy did, and so, but we know how to handle it. Like, we were actually prepared for all this before we even found out we could get on the phone with this guy. So that's what you got to do. Like, if you want to make money in deals, you've got to know the rules. You've got to have the right people. You've got to have the decision makers. So I know some of the questions that you're having are, well, dude, how do I actually get the decision makers on the phone? Okay, so call me up. Let's talk about your deal. I want to explain to you how to do that. Natalie, what other?
Yeah, we've got Robert in San Jose, California.
Oh, nice. We got Robert, San Jose, man. Robert, what's happening? Hey, Robert, how you doing?
Hi, how you doing?
Man, I'm incredible. I'm incredible.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, dude. That's what type of business are you in?
I'm in a flower business. I own a flower shop right here in San Jose, California.
Nice. Which one?
The name of the shop is Blackstone Florist.
Nice. That's awesome, man. So flowers.
Yes, sir.
I love that. I've worked with a couple groups who sell flowers, so that's good. What challenges do you run into?
Well, I do have originally the direction was to just sell roses and directly to the customers, and well, the same day delivery that didn't work out too good. So the direction we went away from the original plan was to go towards selling.
Yeah. See if you can get his question. We couldn't hear it, but we're gonna get his question. We got him on the phone, see if it was better. Okay, I think my man Robert's selling flowers. Okay, I've worked with some of those guys, dude. We got it?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Hi there.
What's up, buddy? There you are, man.
All right, good. Yeah, so the direction we're going right now is basically just only doing weddings. So we do flowers for weddings.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so what I got is here is a list of clients that I've gathered throughout the last few months. And all I have most of this is just...
Dude, get his number. I'll call him directly. So guys, Yeah. So I couldn't hear Robert, but he's talking about he sells flowers for weddings, man. Here's the deal, man. He's probably got the same problems you have. It's a competitive market. When people do weddings, guess what? They spend a ton of money on the wedding, so they're looking at his hack at every single angle. You got to know your game. You got to know your value adds. Now, there's a sales part, right? There's a sales part. There's a lot of emotion. There's you got to get them excited. You need to be excited about pitching your deal. You need to be pumped up, jacked up, letting them know. You need to know big claims, right? You got to do fact finding. You got to find dominant buying motives. Dude, this is the sales process, okay? Two different things. If you guys notice the way Grant wrote his books, he wrote books separate. He did not put closing and selling together. If you guys notice that. They're two different things. They should be treated completely different. So sales, super emotional, finding dominant buying motives, the whys, the hows, the what to do's. Let's shift over into the close. You don't ever go back over to the sales part. When we're in the close, man, this is where you got to really hone in on dude, hey, now's the time to close a deal. That's why it's important you got to show your price. This is why it's important that you've got to offer alternatives, because what happens now is they want to negotiate the deal. Okay, I wish somebody would call me up as some crazy negotiation that they have. That's what I want to talk about. That's the fun stuff. Okay, because what happens is you get into these negotiations where, people just start negotiating for sport. They start telling you some big story, right? One of the rules of closing is, dude, do not buy into their story. You buy into your story. Your story is the only story that you should believe at this point, right? So there's a few things that we use here that you'll find inside the program where Grant talks about, hey, listen, I got no more money to give you. If we got to get on the phone and talk about money, and if the conversation is going to be about money, I got to tell you that we got no more money to give you. Now, if you want to beat me up on service. Okay, let's do something other than money, because I'll tell you that, look, money does not change the way it works. Okay, you're not going to get better results if I lower the price. Okay, so you guys should really do that exercise with yourself. Okay, you should do a little T-chart. Okay, maybe you sell a product that is $500. Okay, so you do $500 on this side, and then you know what if we did 50%? What if we did it for $250? Okay, and I want you to do a little T-chart, and I want you to do the benefits of actually selling it for $250. There are none. Okay. The exercise is pointless because there are no benefits to changing the price. So when you can understand that, hey, dude, the price is completely made up, it's going to help you hang in the deal. Now, the deal's got to be it's got to be good for both parties. Okay, I want to bring back up the slide, and I want to go to the next part. Okay, the wherewithal. This is probably more for the individual. They've got to be able to make the purchase. They've got to be able to have the money, right? So if I'm selling to my sister who, makes a normal income, but guess if I'm trying to sell her a Bentley, she can't afford a Bentley. She doesn't have the wherewithal. She can't put the down payment down. She can't stroke a check for 50 grand on the down payment and spend $2 grand a month. It's just not real for her, right? So I can't sell her that. So there's no sales pitch in the world that matters if they don't have the wherewithal. Okay, number 3, sold on the product. So this one and number 4 go together. So they got to know that you're the right deal. So some of the questions that you could ask is, listen, are we on the right product? Am I the right guy that you want service in your company? Is Grant Cardone the one that you want training your people every single day? Okay, and if you can say yes to all 3 of those, then why don't I suggest that we do this? Let's get this done. You cannot benefit until we get this deal closed. Okay, so might I suggest we get this deal going now, right? So what I want you guys to do is, for the exercise for the week, I want you to write down the 5 closes inside the program that you're going to practice, drill, rehearse. And so I'm going to show you inside the system under closing strategies. So closing strategies, if you go into the full curriculum right here, you're going to notice that we've got all the different closes in here. So look, they're not all going to work for you. Okay, they're not all set up for what you want, and so this is the mistake that I see. I see people just go through all 150. So don't do that. So identify, hey, what 5 work for me right now, and then watch all 5 of those 150 times. Do that, right? So dig into the actual closes. So I want you to notice how they're set up. So if you guys know the rules of closing, there's only 4 different categories of objections. There's price, time, stall, and product. Price, time, stall, and product. I want to show you, if you flip back to the menu right there, you're going to notice that closing strategies right there. All the way at the top, you got there's 45 different strategies on the money. So the price. Okay, what is it about the price? Price on the payments, down payments, monthly payments, overall payments, what is it? Right, so identify which one works for you, okay? Then there's gonna be the time. Price, time, we've got 9 on time. Okay, time is, you know what, we're gonna put this off to the 4th quarter. Hey, yeah, this is great, but you know, we're gonna wait till the right time. We're gonna wait till tax season. Okay, stall is, man, I gotta think about it. I don't make a rash decision. We like it, but we don't make a rash decision. We gotta think about it. I gotta talk to my spouse. And then it goes into all the different product closes, right? So the one thing that I want you to know, if you're taking notes at home, I want you to write this down, okay? This will be worth $1 million to you in your career. Okay, people use price and time. They use price and time to cover up uncertainty about the product. If you can understand that one thing, maybe get you a little tattoo or something right there that says, hey, customers use price and time to cover up uncertainties about the product. That'll make you $1 million, because you're going to hear one thing and you're going to know, oh, they said A, but I know it's actually B. They said this, but I know it's that. Right? Because then you can actually get to it. You can handle it. You can handle the real deal. And that's why this training matters so much. Because I'll tell you that there was a difference between me as a new salesperson. The first 5 years of sales, nobody ever taught me about objections. Hey, somebody says this, they really mean that. Okay, I never got that information. So guess what? Somebody said this and I'm running off. I'm coming back to the manager. Hey, dude, they said they would do it for the lower price. Can you do it? Come on, dude, I need this deal. Right? Manager's like, dude, you're weak. Get back out there. Okay? And the reality was I was weak. Okay? So I don't want you to be. Okay? Because you deserve all the money. You deserve everything to get your deals done. Let's take another caller.
All right, you got Brad in Tampa.
Brad in Tampa. What's up, my man?
Hello, Mr.
Yes,
Spray?
yes, sir. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great. How are you doing?
Dude, I'm doing incredible. Oh,
Great.
Paj. Oh, Paj.
Okay.
Is it Paj?
Yeah.
I
Paj,
got it.
yeah.
My bad, my man.
It's all right.
What can I help you out with this week?
One of the problems I'm having in my country here, the common objection is that when people have like a house payment, banks won't approve anything more than 40% of somebody's income. So when I'm trying to sell, because I sell new cars, so when I try to sell them a new car and it pushes them past that 40% mark, they're like, no, I can't. Or I'm fixing my house, no, I can't do it. And so I'm having trouble finding another angle I could work.
Yeah, so, you know, you just need to find a good way to say it, you know, I get that you can't do it, but, you know, just so I understand, are you saying you can't do it or you don't want to do it at this price?
Okay.
Those are two different things. Can't do it and don't want to do it are two different things. Okay.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, so I would just find a good way. So maybe like work out a pitch for you, because I mean, for like me, I'm gonna be probably a little bit more just, you know, the way I am. I'm gonna tell somebody, hey, listen, I get it, but when you say that, are you telling me that you can't do it or you don't want to do it? And that's the way that I'm going to use it, because I'm going to find out, hey, dude, you're telling me this, but are you really telling me that? Kind of what I was just explaining, because let's go back to the chart right here, because it is a different thing. Number one, let me ask you this: the situation that you're referring to, because I know you're thinking about a situation right now. Were they the real decision maker, the actual final, the end all, the real decision maker?
Yes, they are.
Excellent. Did they have the wherewithal to make the payments? Did they have the money?
That's something I don't know if they do, but
Yeah. So that could be an issue for you.
I don't.
Yeah. So when you go back, I want you guys to screenshot the requirements for closing the sale, because what will happen is we'll get questions, guys calling up, and in a situation like this, like, hey, dude, how do I sell the guy who can't buy it? Well, it's like asking me to say, how do I get the guy with no legs to be able to walk? Like, dude, he doesn't have the legs. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, so that like you need to find another customer, right? So, and I see salespeople get hung up in this all the time. And what happens is they should be prospecting to like fill up their pipeline. So really what I'll see, like when I go to a company a lot, I mean, I do a lot of investigating, and they'll tell me right up front, hey, we need to get better at closing. And I'll go in there and I'll start, so tell me about your deal. What's happening? And I'll literally just watch and see what's going on. And they're telling me closing's our problem. And I'm looking at them like, well, guys, like, there's not a whole lot of people here to close. Like, let's not talk about closing. Let's actually talk about what would this scene look like if we filled up the pipeline. So let's go into like a cold call, prospecting, follow-up. Let's get people in that actually have the wherewithal. Because if I can get a decision maker and they got the wherewithal, then it comes down to me actually put my selling shoes on and making sure that they're bought into me, they're bought into the company, they're bought into the product, and they're bought in that, hey, I need to do this. This is the right thing to do. I need to do it right now, where there's like some urgency. You know what I'm saying? So for you and like your sanity, it might be a lot easier for you to understand if you use this chart right here where you're like, hey, if they don't have the money, because then you got a different problem. So if they don't have the wherewithal, your job now is, okay, well, if they're sold on the product, man, what if we got you the money? So you're telling me right now that if you had the money, you'd do it.
Right.
Excellent. And you came here knowing your financial situation, right? I mean, you knew that this product was going to cost X amount a month, right?
And the thing is where I'm bouncing into it a lot is that since I started your program, I'm actually just cold calling people.
Okay.
And following up with even current customers and so forth. So they've bought a car, let's say, in the last 3, maybe to 5 years.
Okay.
Because here people typically change cars every 5 years.
Yeah.
So I'm hitting them, and then they're saying, man, I'm maxed out. I'm renovating my house. My daughter, I'm sending off to university. I'm like, okay. And then I ask for referrals and so forth. They can't think of anybody.
Yeah. So here's one thing that you could think about. So if they're maxed out on if they're maxed out on money, what other problems could you solve for them that would be a benefit to you and them? I mean, could you put them in something with lower payments?
No, in my country, it's only the banks that do the financing, so that's usually up to them.
Okay.
It's not like the U.S. and the car companies do the financing.
Okay. So what other problems could you solve for them other than just getting them a vehicle? Is that really the only thing?
That's really the only thing I think, right? Unless I'm not being creative right now, but I'm not seeing anything else right now.
Yeah, so, activity, man, activity. I would just up your calls. I mean, it sounds like you're just in a game that requires a lot of calls and find them, and you're looking for, like, I don't know if you guys have that book, Where's Waldo, in your country. But there was a book here in the U.S., man. When I was a kid growing up, dude, there was these books where you'd open them up. They were big. There was all these things all over the place, and your job was to find one little teeny tiny thing. And like, it sounds like that's your job. So like, there's a lot of activity. I would set the expectation that I'm gonna have to make 200 phone calls to get one guy who's interested. So if that's the case, like, dude, I got to sit down and I got to pound out a lot of people, and I got to put them in my pipeline, basically. And so when you get these folks on the phone who are like, dude, I'm tapped out right now, dude, no problem, man. I'm looking for people that you might know who don't have a vehicle right now. I don't know anybody. If you did know somebody, who would it be? And if I gave you a call back in 90 days, would you be open to the idea of flipping this over? I mean, at that point, you would be done with your renovations, right? Yeah, I would. Excellent. Right. When's the next time you would take my call and consider a switch into a new vehicle? Probably not for another 6 months. Done. I'm going to give you a call in 6 months. In the meantime, who else do you know? And then I'm going to put that guy in my pipeline, and then I'm going to be on to the next one, because I got to get somebody. If you go back to the list, if they don't have number 7, this is like one of the most important ones. Actually, probably, this is why, if you guys notice on this whole chart, it is bold. If they don't have urgency to do it, then they'll just sport negotiate with you or just push you off. right? So thanks a lot for giving a call in, man. That's awesome. What I would do is I would focus on activity and building a pipeline. Next caller.
All right, you got Danny in Atlanta.
Danny in Atlanta. What's up, Danny?
Hey, what's going on, Steve?
How are you?
Again.
Yeah.
I am doing good.
You've been calling in almost every week for a while. How's everything been going since you've been on the program?
I'm now learning everything. Put it like that.
Oh, okay. I feel the
Yeah,
I feel the same way sometimes. I feel like sometimes I'm like, I'm just getting started.
Yeah, it's all finally coming together.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But so my main thing is I'm calling for today because I've been calling like some schools lately, and I'm trying to get into financial wellness seminars. And the problem I'm going to find when it comes to like public service schools, police officers, like firefighters, is that they're going to have vendors. So a lot of them are going to be against me coming in because they have vendors already coming. And sometimes they may even say call like the main headquarters and go on that. So I know what our goal is not to be vendors, it's just to get into the door. So what advice would you have for that?
So you're just talking about like creating hooks and interest to get the appointment?
Yes, basically. It's just getting in the door and present to different teachers or, people of public service.
Yeah, so I don't know, like when I make the pitch, like sometimes I just like take things out of people's like I'll tell them what I'll know an objection that I'm going to get already. Like if you want to go to, if you go to the full curriculum and click in Master the Cold Call, there's a part inside Master the Cold Call that I really like. I'll tell you that I go back to it often. Like I'll listen to my calls, I'll listen to what people are saying, and then I actually go back to Master the Cold Call and I dig into this part that's called the cold call process. And there's a reason why I do this, because what Grant did was he just like really, he put everything into a microscope basically. It's the cold call process, bottom left. And this is where he talks about, hey, look, let's just break down. I mean, this little pitch right here could happen in 10 seconds, and he's got 6 videos on it. And he broke it down. I mean, this could be 45 minutes of training right here. So what I would look at is, in my greeting, what type of objections can I eliminate? So I might just tell him, hey, listen, we're not looking to be vendors for your company, but we're calling for, and you need to state your claim, state your big claim. Like, what is it? Like, what type of, what type, why would I want to meet with you if I was them? What is that? Mm-hmm. So what is that? Let's make the list right now.
You said, why would they? Because they're employees. If their employees would be less stressed at work if their finances were working. I mean, if they had their finances in order.
Yeah, that's right. So you specialize in working with schools and hospitals and their employees' their long-term financial situations.
Yes.
So what I would do is I would call up and I would just know that companies probably don't stop their business frequently for this, right? So be an expert, like come in with altitude, right? So I'm going to come in and I'm going to tell them, hey, listen, hey, I want to give you a quick call. My job and what I'm looking for today is to get 2 minutes to talk to you about our programs. What we do is we actually work with schools, hospitals, we work with our employees and put together long-term financial product programs for them. And most organizations want to do this, and I know you probably have a time that you typically set aside for things like this. So number one, when can I get time on your calendar to discuss this? And number two, when would we be able to come into a meeting like this? Because what happens is they probably block off time. There's probably a day or a time or a week or a month or a part of the quarter that they would even be open to consider it if it was the right thing. So I want to come in like not even assuming that they're going to stop production. I just want to come in with altitude, like, hey, I know what you're going to tell me. I'm going to eliminate it in my pitch, and I'm going to tell them, hey, listen, and we're not looking to be a vendor. We actually work directly with the companies to provide long-term financial plans. And so that's where you got to get that 20-second pitch down right, So without knowing your whole deal, like that's me just coming off the top of my head of like, I want to think with are they going to say to me when I call them? That's why it's so important when you guys make phone calls to write down the words that they are saying, because this is all, it's all cause and effect, right? It's all it's all cause and effect. So whatever they're saying, the reason they said that was whatever you did, right? So if you go back to like some of the first videos in the program where Grant talks about, dude, it is all the salesperson's responsibility, fault, everything. And so when you can listen to like, hey, what are they saying to me? Then you can tweak your pitch, because you're like, hey, when they say that to me, I don't really like that because that didn't have anything to do with what we're doing. So you can tweak what you're saying.
Okay.
Okay, so keep a notepad, write down exactly word for word, like the exact words of what they're saying. Just look at it like, hey, why did they say that? You know, and so maybe there's not an objection handle. Maybe there's no purpose of having a way to handle an objection on that. Like, you guys don't have to handle everything. Like, sometimes you're the reason why they're saying that, right? And so there might be something to change on it. Next caller.
All right, you got Brad in Tampa.
Brad in Tampa, what's up, my man?
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Dude, if I was any better, I would be you.
Awesome. Hey, I was going to ask you, I had a couple questions about kind of just going through the close.
Yes.
I got a customer who kind of, it's a weird situation. I'm in the I work with Total Quality Logistics. I'm one of their account executives over here. Basically, I'm a middleman between businesses and and carriers, truck companies.
Yep.
So basically, I handle all that for them, and I've been on Cardone U for 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
I've already seen a massive increase in production.
It's awesome.
I've already locked in 2 or 3 other customers. I'm actually still in training. I'm one of the only trainees on my team that hasn't put up any revenue, and I'm beating them by X amount. So
yeah,
I mean, it's been working great for me. So
love it.
far.
I love it, man. I know you're doing awesome, my man. So you keep on that path, you'll be all right. What? Yeah. Okay, good. So you're talking about closing a deal, right?
Right. So we get down to price. And basically the way it works for one of my customers is he asked me the price for a potential client to get the product moved from point A to point B. I give him the quote on it. He adds it onto his rate, and then his potential client decides whether they want to go or not. So I've had a couple situations with him where he's saying, well, I lost the deal because my customer didn't like your price added onto his rate. It was too high. So I'm trying to figure out how I...
So what did he do? What did he do?
He didn't get the business at all.
Yeah, so...
I'm not going to buy now.
Yeah, so let's go back to the chart. Let's go back to the chart, okay? Number 1, did you have the decision maker?
I did, but I didn't,
No, there's on the decision maker, there's not... You were technically working with an influencer, right? So like this is where you got to see through the deal. So this is where like when you can find out why, and this is so good for you because like you're actually aware enough to say, hey dude, I want to look at like these deals, right? So like not everybody calls up and says, hey dude, I got this deal, let's examine it. And so this is what's going to help you out, right? So you just notice that, hey, you know what? Like I thought he was the decision maker because he kind of was going to be making the decision, but in the end, he wasn't actually the decision maker, right? So how do I...
The other guy's writing the check.
Exactly. So how do I do these? And this is where salespeople freak out because they're like, right? So the pitch, man, the problem is not in the close. The problem is in the pitch. The problem is in identifying dominant buying motives. Hey, other than price, what's gonna cause this deal to blow up?
Right.
So when it's not price, who else is going to be involved in this decision? Well, it's just me.
Right.
Well, sir, I know you've got a client that you're working for, man. What's he concerned about? What's his biggest thing? I want to make sure you get this deal, man. We're going to be partners on this. I want to make sure you get it. What's he concerned about other than price? Oh no, price is the most important thing. Why is that, man? Tell me about why that's important for him. Let me figure it out. Let me like tell me about the situation. Right? So that's where, and in your space particularly, a lot of people are just looking for quotes. And it becomes a price game because like there's no other value anywhere else, right? But like you work for a company who I know can do some things that other companies can't.
Right.
So it'd be important for you to identify how much those other things matter, because of course price matters. But it's not the only thing, dude, like, because they're not buying a price. They're actually buying something else, right? They're buying something moving from point A to point B. And that thing moving from point A to point B has a value to it, probably a really good value. It's probably for their business. There's probably millions of dollars involved, right? And so for you, you need to identify, hey, what other things do we do here in our business that have nothing to do with low prices that actually matter to the customers? And you need to pull that up in the sales pitch. You need to identify what's happening, my man. You need to figure out, hey, dude, listen, I'm going to get you the best price. That's my job. My job is to find out what type of price you're looking for, man. And of course, you're looking for the best. I'm going to handle that. So other than price, what else are you looking for? What's going to be the most important thing other than price, right? So you got to get down to figure out, hey, dude, what's going to kill this deal? You know, and if the guy's like, hey, dude, just price, just price, just price. Why is it just price, man? What is it about the price that your client has to have? Is it because what he's shipping he's not going to make out on his margin if there's a little bit of a shipping cost involved? Like, what is it, man? So like, that's where you got to get down, and it's in the pitch. And then at the end of the day, dude, you got to have the decision maker. So you got to find out, what does the decision maker care about? Because there's two people involved right there for you. And the one person you were talking to had different concerns. And so you're pitching to this one concern where there's a whole other personality involved with separate concerns. And if you got to go through that terminal, dude, you need to find out, like, hey, what matters in this deal? Okay, so, dude, thanks a lot for giving a call in. I want to flash that up one last time, guys. Get a screenshot of this if you haven't seen it. This will be, print this out. And this is, so when you're freaking out about a deal and you find out, like, hey, dude, why did I not close that deal? Or why is this deal not closing? You need to go through and you know, I apologize for the time of the show. We never really got to urgency and how to build it. Maybe I'll save that for next week. That's probably a whole topic on itself. So you got to have the decision maker, or you've got to know what matters to the decision maker. What's the most important thing to the decision maker? That's why, like, I can't even cover it all in these shows, guys. There's 1,500 videos inside this program. So that's why it's 6 segments every day, and just learning and learning every day is going to build you to a skill where you're in the middle of a deal and all of a sudden, you know, hey, boom, you know what? This is why it's not closing. And then you go handle that problem, right? So decision maker, wherewithal, sold on the product. They believe in you, the confidence in the product. You've got to have a written offer. This is, and you're probably looking at this thing right now and you're like, well, duh. You're like, why do they even have number 6 on there? Trust me. Number 6 is one of the things that, like, we'll look at a deal where they're like, hey, why aren't we closing? I'm like, what's their proposal look like? Well, they just have a price menu. They got to have the proposal, dude. They got to have, they can't sign a deal if they don't have the deal. And then number 7, maybe we'll do next week on urgency, man. Maybe we'll do next week on urgency. So guys, listen, October 5th, 6th, and 7th. Grant Cardone's going to do this. He's going to do it for 3 days. He talks about sales, marketing, and building a 10X team. And we go through everything. There's only so much we can go through on these masterminds, man. I mean, these things are great. I know people love them because we get a lot of great feedback. But you guys need to come down to the 3-day event, 10X Business Bootcamp. Call into the office. Ask for me. Ask for Natalie. Ask for somebody who can help you out with some 10X Business Bootcamp tickets. We'll make it work for you. So guys, listen, we'll see you back here next week on the Wednesday Cardone University Mastermind.